The sun had barely risen when the Buddha, accompanied by his disciples, strolled quietly into a small village nestled between hills and fields. Word of his arrival spread through the community like wildfire, carried by whispers and excitement, for the villagers had heard stories of peace, wisdom, and transformation. One by one, people came, drawn not just by curiosity, but by a hope that perhaps, just perhaps, the wandering sage could solve the problems that had weighed on their hearts for far too long. And so, under the shade of a banyan tree, they gathered, forming a semicircle of seekers and skeptics. Among those who came was a man with furrowed brows and a frustrated soul. He approached with hesitation and a sigh that seemed to carry years of resentment. Speaking on behalf of others, a villager addressed the Buddha. "We are simple folk," he said, "living by the sweat of our brows. We don't have much, but we're grateful. Yet there's one among us who's different. He does no work, blames fate for his hunger, curses the divine for his lack. When we speak, he mocks us. We've tried everything, but he won't change." The Buddha's eyes twinkled gently as he listened. He nodded slowly and said with calm assurance, "Bring him to me." But the villagers hesitated. "He's not like the others," one of them warned. "He is harsh, even abusive. He might insult you. We would be ashamed to see him speak to you that way." Still, the Buddha smiled. "That's all right. Just tell him I might have a solution for his troubles." And so they went, reluctantly, to fetch the man. At first he refused outright. "I don't need sermons from another holy man," he snapped. "They're all fakes." But when told that this man, this Buddha, might actually have a real solution to his problems, curiosity and desperation pulled him forward. He stood before the Buddha defiantly, arms crossed and voice sharp. "Why did you call me? What do you want? Don't tell me to stop blaming the divine. What has the divine done for me? I was given a body. Yes, but what good is it without money? If you can solve my money problem, say so. Otherwise, get out of here with your robes and silence." Instead of reacting with anger, the Buddha simply smiled. "I'm not here to make you believe or disbelieve in anything," he said. "I'm only here to share what I know. And I know this: happiness and sorrow are not handed down from above. They are born from our own actions. You curse the skies, but what have you done with your hands?" The man sneered. "I didn't come here for philosophy. I came because someone said you could help. Either solve my money problem or stop wasting my time." The Buddha remained serene. "I don't have money," he said. "I don't need it either. But I know someone who does. Someone who might give you more than you can imagine. A king. His son was born blind, and his advisors say that only the eyes of a living man can restore the prince's vision. If you give your eyes to the prince, the king will give you gold equal to your weight. You will never know hunger again." The man's face twisted in shock and anger. "Are you mad? My eyes? Why would I give up my sight? How would I even enjoy the gold if I'm blind?" The Buddha responded softly, "But you said your body was useless. If it is, then why not trade it for something valuable?" Still enraged, the man shouted, "No! I won't give my eyes, not for all the riches in the world. These eyes are precious, priceless. I won't give them away." "All right," said the Buddha calmly, "then just one eye. You'll still see the world, and the gold will be yours." The man shook his head furiously. "Not even one. You truly are mad if you think anyone would trade something so valuable for coins. My eyes are not for sale." Then the Buddha leaned in gently. A moment ago you called your body worthless. Now you say even a single part of it is priceless. Which one is the truth? If your eyes hold such value, then isn't your entire body precious beyond measure? Something shifted. The man's anger began to tremble. His voice cracked. Tears formed. Slowly, he collapsed at the Buddha's feet, not with rage, but with remorse. He wept, not for the life he had lived, but for the realization he had never seen it clearly. The Buddha lifted him up with compassion. "Friend," he said, "nature has gifted you this miraculous body, a body capable of love, of work, of change. And yet because you didn't have everything you wanted, you dismissed the gift entirely. That is how we often are. We curse the things we have for not being more, instead of seeing how much they already are." Silence fell among the villagers as the message settled deep into their bones. The man who had once cursed the skies now stood quietly, overwhelmed by gratitude. For the first time, he could see, not just with his eyes, but with understanding. And so the Buddha spoke again, this time to everyone. Too often, in moments of despair, people call themselves worthless. They lose sight of the miracle they are. This body, this life, it's not a burden, it's a blessing. Among all living beings, only humans have the capacity to choose, to reflect, to transform. Animals live by instinct, but we, only we, can choose goodness, can grow, can lift others. To be born human is to be born with freedom. He looked at the crowd, their eyes wide and hearts stirred. And yet, we measure our lives by what we lack. By coins we do not own, by praise we do not hear, by dreams we have not yet fulfilled. But joy doesn't bloom in the soil of scarcity. It grows where there is appreciation. The wind rustled the trees, and the Buddha continued, his voice as calm as the morning sky. If you truly want happiness, begin by counting what you have, not with your hands, but with your heart. The body that breathes, the mind that thinks, the heart that feels, the will that acts, these are not small things. These are everything. To recognize this is to take the first step toward peace. A hush settled over the village, not the silence of confusion, but the stillness of clarity. Faces once tight with worry now held softness, as if something old and heavy had been set down. In that quiet moment, the villagers didn't need more words. They had already received what they came for. And the man who had once cursed his fate now sat still, perhaps for the first time in years, understanding not just the weight of his pain, but the immeasurable value of his life. The sun dipped lower on the horizon, casting long golden shadows over the village, and in that warm, fading light, something subtle but profound had changed. Not just in the man who had come angry and left humbled, but in every heart that had listened. A transformation not sparked by force or miracles, but by realization, simple, powerful truth spoken without judgment. The Buddha didn't offer gold or promises. He offered something rarer, perspective. As villagers slowly returned to their homes, they carried more than just memories of a visit from a wise man. They carried a quiet awakening. Some looked at their hands, once calloused by labor, and saw strength instead of struggle. Others looked at their loved ones with renewed appreciation. And that man, the one who had once believed he was cursed, walked home slowly. His head bowed not in shame, but in reflection. He no longer cursed the divine. He no longer questioned why he was given a body and no riches. Because now he saw that he had been rich all along. The Buddha remained beneath the tree, silent as ever, watching the stars begin to appear one by one. And in that silence, there was peace, not because suffering had vanished, but because understanding had arrived. There is no greater wealth than gratitude, no deeper wisdom than realizing that you are already enough, and no more beautiful gift than this fleeting, fragile, priceless human life.